I Don't Live Here Anymore by The War on Drugs. 10 songs, 52 minutes long. Um, Last album they released was in, I'd like to say 2017, but we didn't, there's a deeper understanding. That was our first year of the podcast, and it was one of the things that we weren't actually able to talk about and review proper. But I did bring it up as like a music recommendations, and then also on the court packing episodes because it won my rock album of the year that year because it's an incredible album. But anyway, so it's been a while since they released the music. They did the one single that we reviewed. Which one was it? I think Living Proof maybe was that. And I actually didn't really necessarily like that song going into it, but now in the context of the album, it makes more sense. But anyways, so going to the album, it starts off with Living Proof, which I think now in the how it sets up the album, it now makes sense as a track. I don't necessarily like it too much as a track on its own, but then within the album, it's not too bad. So it starts it off slow. You can kind of get a sense of how the album's going to sound. It's not going to be as synth heavy as the previous album, as compared to A Deeper Understanding. Be more of a kind of a rock fuel, and you'll get that throughout the album. But then it picks right up with the second song on Harmonia's Dream, and this is a really like a classic The War on Drugs track, like 6.5 minutes long, and it's just a song that like slowly builds up and crescendos twice, and just has like beautiful stuff in the middle. Like vocals are fantastic. You got piano in the background, everything you love. And this is where I got in this album. I just got a big ass smile on my face when I heard. I go, yep. Now I see why, because I did a good damn, and I didn't listen to as hard as it was, because on Sirius XMU and on fucking MBE, I would, when they would play the War on Drugs singles, I literally would turn the station because I'm like, I want it fresh. I want it as fresh as possible. And boy, am I glad I did.
It's a good feeling to get the um album as a complete work, honestly. And I enjoyed
Yes.
listening to it as a complete work. I've only gotten to my usual union mandated two listens for
That's fine.
yeah, but I'm definitely going to be listening to more. But I do like how there's, especially in the kind of early middle part of the album, a good string of songs that just like each one stands on its own very well, and it can just like
Yeah.
they stand on their own very well, but they continue the album through a really nice track. I think Change is really good, but I Don't Want to Wait really starts this track.
Yeah, the three to me of I Don't Want to Wait, Victim, and I Don't Live Here Anymore are incredible. And for me, A Deeper Understanding, which came out a few years ago, I really liked the end of the album. There was three songs in Chains Can Live and You Don't Have to Go that I really, really enjoyed. And for this, it was these middle tracks that I enjoyed a ton. And honestly, the way they made this record, I like it even so far. I've listened to it maybe about 4 times. I like it even more than A Deeper Understanding, which I thought I wasn't going to do, especially with the first single that we reviewed. I was honestly worried. I go, oh crap. And I think I said that too on the podcast, but I'm like, I'll wait and do my final judgment until the album review. Because for me this year so far, because we've had a lot of good albums, but we've also had a lot of albums that were good, but missed in the way that they put the tracks in order, that the way they mixed it and everything. I think to me, this is the best complete work I've heard so far this year. The way the songs transition, everything has a completely right space. Everything transitions into the next track. You're never left wanting more. You're never left wanting less, because these songs are long too, especially those three in that middle. There's 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 5.5 minutes. So they're not short by any means, but it doesn't feel like it drags on at all. At least for me.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. I think yeah, in 2021, seeing like even 3.5 minute songs feels wild, even though it used to be kind of just like the radio single standard.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, you're getting like true and true rock songs here, where like 4 minutes, 4.5 minutes is like the
Pretty short song. Yeah.
yeah, that's the lower threshold. But what you're getting through there is you're not getting like you're getting 10 tracks, like just 10 rock songs here, and
And
they out fairly deliver. Go ahead.
yeah, I was gonna say the song that blew me out the water is the title track, "I Don't Live Here Anymore," featuring Lucius. absolutely incredible rock song. Like for the Rock is Dead conversation, which we have, bi-yearly, at this point, this is to me the future of certain styles of rock. Like this is a combination of like almost like classic rock sounds to modern rock to alt rock, like all combined into something that sounds fresh, it sounds new, and but it still pays homage to everything that came the way you do it. So it's one of my favorite songs.
Yeah, I'm very, very I'm overall very pleased with it. I think near the end, it all transitions very well through the end, but because song 6 is really kind of like crescendo point.
Hmm.
I think the plane lands, so to speak, very nicely, no like bumps or anything like that,
Yeah.
but it's almost like a very, very calm landing, like the baby's still completely asleep, like there's nothing. I feel like there is some other way around, like maybe song 8 or song 9, that you could have had like a really nice near finisher, and then you have occasional rain, which is a nice like ending track, but it could have kind of their continuation. We've listened to a lot of albums that are like really, really great, but miss a couple of those marks. I think this is a really, really great album. This might just be nitpicking territory for me, but I think it could have been really, really awesome, like borderline perfect, if like Rings Around My Father's Eyes, which isn't a bad track, were something that was like a little bit more like one of the tracks in the early on part, so that you had uh more complete work, kind of showcasing what they can all do, because you get a lot of rock in the earlier part, then you get some synth blending in, and that kind of just
Hmm.
kind of works together in this seamless way. But yeah, the tone and tempo just continues to be sort of really mellow here, and I'm glad they went with it and worked with it. But I do have this bias towards faster paced
Yeah, yeah.
remix songs throughout,
That's,
and keeping that sort of energy not constant, but having it throughout the album, and not just having the album be top heavy or bottom heavy.
yeah, and I can understand that. I mean, I think that that might be the limits of like the way they make their tracks per se, because the War on Drugs don't really make anything super fast paced, but they know how to make a slow song not boring, I guess. Um, but overall, I think I mean, definitely on my short list of rock albums of the year. It's incredible. I was very, very pleasantly surprised with how the record went. Because honestly, I was worried, and I was going into this. I go, okay, let's see what happens. I listened this week. I was listening to them a lot. I was listening to um, A Deeper Understanding a lot. I was listening to Lost in the Dream a lot as well. One of my favorite tracks is the first track on that, Under the Pressure. I was listening to it a lot just to get hyped and kind of see their evolution as a band. And you can really, there's definitely different ways they produce songs, 7, 8 years ago to the way they do it today. So very good overall.
Yeah, we love to see improvement.
Yep.
Um, Arbitrary scale this week, because we do arbitrary scales every week on Audioface. Alternative names for Facebook. I've got a whole list here, so this should be fun. I'm gonna call this Gripe with 2 eyes.
I like it.
Gripe.
I can feel it in it. This is amusing.io.
Amusing. Amusing.
Amusing.io. Because why not?
Amusinio. It's whatever, man. Tech companies are
This
so dumb, but Meta is an even dumber story.
this business name generator is my favorite thing in the world now. This is hilarious.